Hey everybody, welcome to Colin's Creatures. Today I'm at Aldinger Kangaroo Farm and this is a red kangaroo. And today I'm going to talk about red kangaroos and find out if you can keep a red kangaroo as a pet. Kangaroos are part of the macropod family, which includes other kangaroos, wallabies, potoroos, patamelons, batongs, and quokkas. And all of these animals are native to Australia. Now, you probably never heard of a patamelon, a batong, a potoroo, or a quokka, but I will tell you, quokkas are absolutely adorable and they're my favorite animal. So if you want to see a video on quokkas, help this video explode so I can make lots of money to fly to Australia. Red kangaroos are also the largest species of marsupial, or pouched mammal, which means the females have a pouch on their underside, which is where they keep the babies, and the babies are born underdeveloped and they will continue to develop inside of the pouch. And what's cool is the females who have the pouches have a special muscle that they use to close the pouch to either keep a baby in or keep another baby out. They can also have 3 babies at once, and the babies are called joeys. So they can have one outside of the pouch who only comes over to nurse, they can have one inside the pouch, and they can have one still gestating. This female is carrying a joey, but the joey still has not popped its head out of the pouch yet. And once they come out of the pouch, they are bottle fed to get them socialized. Jackson is still young enough to be bottle fed, but he is too big to go back inside of the pouch. Kangaroos are very athletic, and as you might expect, they can jump very high and far, up to 6 feet high and 25 feet far. They're also incredibly strong. That guy in the back is the male, and the males have very powerful legs and arms, which they will use for territorial disputes and also mating rights. This is the dominant male kangaroo. And as you can see, he is very heavily muscled, and you can see how he could possibly hurt someone really badly if they were caught unaware. Almost. Kangaroos are herbivores, and they will eat grasses and other plants, and while they are generally peaceful, they can be very dangerous when threatened. Not many animals want to mess with an adult kangaroo, especially a male, since they are the ones who are incredibly strong. The only animals that really will mess with them are people and dingoes, but even they have been killed by adult male kangaroos. The only animal that really tangled with kangaroos in the past and got away with it is the now extinct Tasmanian tiger. Female kangaroos are called flyers, and male kangaroos are called boomers. The smaller kangaroo is a flyer, and she has a joey in her pouch. And the larger kangaroo is a boomer, and he is the secondary male of the group. And you can see how the boomer uses his tail to balance and stand, and this tail is very muscular and can support their entire body weight. A group of kangaroos is called a mob. So does that make an individual kangaroo a mobster? Let's go and find Matt, who is the owner of Aldinger Kangaroo Farm, and talk about the care of the kangaroos. So this is Matt Aldinger, and he's the owner of Aldinger Kangaroo Farms. So Matt, how'd you get started? How'd you want to have a kangaroo farm?
Well, we got started by my wife's family owns a zoo. We wanted to get some of our own animals, and kangaroos were one of my wife's favorite animals. So we went with kangaroos, and we found a small zoo in the Pocono Mountains that was looking to rehome their kangaroos. So we went up there and picked them up and brought them home and got started.
So, as I understand, there are a lot of regulations in Pennsylvania which need to keep kangaroos. Can you tell me what those are?
Yeah, so in Pennsylvania, you need to have a menagerie permit through the Pennsylvania Game Commission. In order to get that, you have to have at least 2 years of experience with exotic animals to obtain that permit. And you have to have several people sign off that you do indeed have experience. You can't just go and say, hey, I have 2 years experience, you know. So you have to have some references as well. And then you have to have your USDA permit, which would be like the federal government. And they do several inspections a year. When you're getting started, they come out and do a pre-inspection. And then once you have your animals, they do an inspection while your animals are there. So it's pretty heavily regulated.
That is a lot of regulations. So it's definitely not easy to keep a kangaroo.
No, so the average person probably would not be able to get a kangaroo, at least in the state of Pennsylvania. Every other state has their own set of local laws. But yeah, in Pennsylvania, it's quite difficult to have your own kangaroos.
So you breed kangaroos for not only selling to other zoos, but for outreach, is that correct?
Correct, we do. We do a lot of like therapy kangaroos. We do a lot of events at retirement communities. We've gone to a whole lot of preschools, grade schools. We even do birthday parties. In fact, Jackson, he was just at a wedding the other weekend. He was invited to go to a wedding. So yeah, we do a lot of different outreaches. We like to educate people on kangaroos and stuff as well.
So for the outreach, I've heard that sometimes people will hold joeys. So can we hold a joey? Or?
We certainly can, if you'd like to try to hold him right now.
That's right.
So the best way to hold a kangaroo is by his tail, pick him up. So if you can't hang on to his tail, and just kind of put your arm underneath him.
This is awesome. So this is Ava and this is Allie, and they're Matt's daughters, and they're gonna help me answer some more questions. So how much land do you need for the kangaroos?
Well, we have 6 kangaroos and a 1/4 of an acre fence.
So what's the daily care for the kangaroos?
Usually we give them apples and wheat bread and specific grain made for kangaroos so they get all the vitamins and nutrients they need. And we also give them a bucket of water, and we sweep every night. And Jax here gets a bottle in the morning and a bottle in the evening.
So what kind of fencing do you have?
We have, since the kangaroos can jump 6 foot high, we have an 8-foot fence and a 6-foot perimeter fence.
So can they live alone, or do they need to be kept in a group?
Usually kangaroos are more likely to be in a mob. I'd say the littlest mob that they would be in is about 3 kangaroos.
So are they cold hardy animals?
Yes, they're usually out in the 20s and teens, but if it gets really cold, they'll go in the barn where it's heated.
So seeing as how they are very strong animals, are there any safety issues with keeping the kangaroos?
Yeah, so the males, they can get quite aggressive. Even a bottle-raised male, once they become breeding age, they can be very aggressive and territorial. So I wouldn't suggest to go in with an adult male unless you know them very well.
So can you keep a kangaroo as a pet? Well, no. You can't really keep them as a pet because in Pennsylvania, which is where we are, you need special licensing in order to have one. But if you're qualified, you can become a menagerie and become a kangaroo keeper. Keep in mind, kangaroos, while they are herbivores, can be very dangerous, and they can attack with deadly and brutal force. Their legs are made for jumping, but they are incredibly strong, and the males will use them for fighting. And their arms and claws are very strong, and their claws are sharp, and those are used for grappling. So you do not want to get caught in a fight with a kangaroo. But in captivity, they may lose some of these temperament issues, but even then, the males can still be dangerous. Also, they need a high fence, and in some places, a special diet. and this will all be very expensive. So can you keep a kangaroo as a pet? Yes, but unless you are qualified and have everything that you need, you probably shouldn't. So I'd like to thank Matt for allowing me to interact with Jackson and seeing the kangaroos and make a video on the farm. And thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and I'll see you next time on Colin's Creatures.